Thanks for tuning into our seller interview series. Up today, we've got an Amazon FBA, Shopify, e-commerce store in the apparel and accessories niche. This business was created in March 2014 and it makes $19,771 per month in net profit. The listing number for this site is 40664. Now, we do these interviews to give potential buyers more information about both the seller and the sites they're looking to purchase. We hope these insights are helpful for you in making a buying decision. We've got the seller with us today to go through the business and cover everything from niche selection to traffic and monetization. Thanks for coming on, Brandon.
Thank you very much for having me. I'm excited to do this.
Yeah, man, it's a pleasure. Just to give our viewers out there a quick summary of the business, like I mentioned, it was built in March 2014 as a monthly revenue of $89,497. The expenses are sitting at $69,726 with a total net profit of $19,771. And that is over a 12-month average. Now, with this business, there's multiple assets that are going to be included in the sale, and that includes such things as the domains, obviously the main and multiple secondary domains, the Shopify account, Facebook pages, which is 33 different pages with an audience of 3.2 million. The Dropbox account will be included with that. Will have all the design files, images, and documents related to this business, along with other social media accounts such as Instagram, Twitter, Tumblr, Pinterest, Winello, and Polyvore, and different partnership agreements with content publishers, ad exchange, and vendors. With the business, we'll also include the inventory with the current cost of $60,000 and Teespring accounts with 90,000 buyers, and the MailChimp account with 114,000 active subscribers, 35,000 which are actual buyers of the product. You also get the Amazon seller account, the Facebook ads account, a Google account with the email, AdWords, and analytics, and all the software accounts related to the operations of the site. So that's a lot of assets to get through. But Brandon, obviously you have a big business. You have a pretty healthy cash flow coming to you every month. Can you tell us just a little bit about your background in building and running online businesses? Is this kind of your first one, or have you been at the game for a while?
So I've been in the online game for probably 8 years or so, but most of the beginning was mostly freelancing and kind of just building people websites and just doing the simple stuff for people. But about 4 years ago, I started transitioning more into the marketing side of things and started to learn how to do Facebook ads and building up audiences and stuff like that. But this is by far the first real solid business website that I've actually been able to build.
Awesome. Yeah, I think that's a really common path. People go from the freelancing to the point where they're like, okay, now I'm ready to do something on my own. How did you come up with the idea for this business in particular?
So this business came to us kind of randomly, actually. It started when a friend of mine contacted me and he asked me if I've ever heard of this Teespring stuff. And so obviously my interests were piqued, so I looked it up, and with a little bit of Photoshop knowledge, because it goes back to my freelance work, I was like, okay, well, I can maybe make a shirt or two. And so I had another friend who had a really big Facebook page, and I said, hey, why don't I make you a couple of shirts? We sell them on your page, we'll split the profit. So started doing that, and the first few campaigns we ran, we made some pretty good money, especially considering before that I'd never really made a lot of money in this online marketing stuff. And so the first few shirts took off, and so I was like, okay, let's keep doing this. And as I started doing it, I started thinking I should probably turn this into a brand and make it something more long-term than just making a little bit of money here now. So that's how it kind of transitioned from this kind of idea into an actual brand and business, and kind of just ran with it from there. Yeah, I mean, it was just very random, really.
I like the idea of approaching your friend who already had a relatively big following, and it's just splitting the profits. That's an easy win for you, right? So that's cool. The people out there listening to this, and maybe they're not super familiar with Amazon FBA, with Shopify stores, and maybe never even heard of what Teespring is. Could you just briefly describe how this business is making money?
Sure. So Teespring, to explain Teespring, it's where you put a shirt design on their site, you promote it, and when the sales come in, they do all the fulfillment, all the customer service, and you just get the profit at the end of the day. So we transitioned from Teespring into Shopify and Amazon. And so Shopify, we are typically, our order is we test everything on Teespring, find designs that work, then we bring them over to our Shopify store where we actually get them printed and put the money into having inventory. And then from there, we have it listed on Amazon as well, where our printer shipper fulfills our Amazon orders as well.
Excellent. And you have a pretty healthy cash flow, as I mentioned. Why are you selling the business? Why not just keep it and grow it?
Well, one of the biggest reasons is because, like I said before, like we were just lucked into it and we're like, okay, we're making money, let's keep going with it. We never really had a passion for this, really. It was more along the lines of, hey, we're making money, let's just keep growing it. And so now we're looking at it and we realize that our skills have brought this along as far as we can. And so we know that with a new owner, it could really be taken, this whole brand could be taken to a whole new level. And so we are at the point now where we would just rather just let a new owner take this thing to the next level and then use the proceeds from this to be able to start more of a passion project.
That's an excellent idea. Yeah, a lot of people, when they get to the point where they're just not as into their business as they once were, whether they were initially into it or kind of like you just kind of fell into it, I think that's a great time to actually sell the business and put that capital towards something you really want to see, grow. And entrepreneurs, especially us, online entrepreneurs, tend to love different projects and starting new things and creating new ideas. So that's always exciting. I'm assuming with the sale, you're going to push some of this capital towards that business, or are you planning on some awesome trip to celebrate the sale?
Well, we definitely do want to go to the Maldives again, so
that
could probably be on the docket. But yeah, we're going to definitely take a chunk of this and probably try a couple of different passion ideas we have, and then we're going to use another big portion of it to go into some more passive investments like real estate and just have that kind of build up slowly.
I think that's a smart idea. We've seen sellers come onto our marketplace and they sell their sites and they just go out there and buy real estate flat out, depending on how big the site was, right? So I think that's a smart idea for sure. Moving into the site history, what was the trajectory of this business when you first started? Now, I know you partnered with your friend with a Facebook page, but did that initial success keep going, or was there some dips when you first began?
Well, when we first started it, it was just a straight up, just nonstop growth. And I think a lot of it was because of the timing of it all. And, this stuff was brand new to the marketplace. And Facebook was showing posts like crazy. So we could just post a shirt on to the page and a ton of people would see it and we'd make a ton of sales. And so at around like the January period, I started, because we were making money for a few months. And so I started realizing like we have some extra capital, like let's start running some ads to these. So I started risking some of our capital on ads and man, it just took off.
Awesome.
Yeah, especially right after we decided to really brand it. It was like March of, what is it now? So it was 2014, March 2014 when we really branded it. And we started really pumping ads to it. We're at a 6-figure a month business within 2 months.
That's the most amazing thing with paid traffic. If you find the perfect metrics and the right target, you can just scale a business to the moon so quickly. It really is pretty miraculous in some cases. Oh, by the way, I think I already mentioned it, but I think that was such a smart idea for you to brand your own business for the long term. I think your business definitely shows the payoff from doing that. Is there anything you learned from this business that you might be applying to your future passion businesses? Like one thing you did that just really worked super well for you?
That's a very good question.
Thank you.
I think the one thing I learned was to begin building the team as soon as you start making money.
That's a great insight, actually. Do you want to expand on that at all? Like, why build the team?
Sure. The biggest thing, because you only have so much time in a day. And there's so much that needs to be done. And so at the very beginning, it was very simple. It was just, I made a shirt, I put it on Teespring, it was done. And I made a few ads with it, and it was done. But as it grew, things started coming into play like customer service and needing to do more Facebook posts and figuring out, how are these memes going to get made for the Facebook page? And so as all this stuff started to build up, I started realizing I'm driving myself insane. And so we hired the most important people as we kept going, but I wish we would have done it from the very beginning instead of waiting until we needed it.
I hear you. I think that is a super smart insight. That is something a lot of entrepreneurs kind of cloud their judgment with. They're like, but I can still do it. Like, but should you be doing it? Maybe you should be focusing on something a little bit more higher level than creating the meme.
Yeah, no, exactly.
I think that's an awesome insight. I wish more entrepreneurs would do that, because it also makes the business easier to sell too when you have those systems and processes and people already in place too. Now, on the flip side with this business, is there anything you tried that didn't work? Any failures that just like, oh man, the new buyer should definitely avoid doing this that I did?
One of the toughest things was I tried doing Twitter ads, and those pretty much bombed, but I think it was more along the lines of me not knowing how to do them 100% correctly. So that was a major failure, but at least I didn't spend a ton on that.
That's good.
And I think one thing I really learned was who to hire as to help build things, because I came across a few times, like once you start making money and you have a business growing, people would come along and be like, well, hey, I can help you do XYZ for this much money, and I can help teach you this. And so we'd pay them more than we probably should have paid them, and then they don't really have ideas that you didn't already know anyway.
Yeah, that's definitely a problem. Your email fills up with a bunch of people who are gurus in a certain marketing channel, things along those lines, right?
Yeah, exactly. And you just, especially in the beginning, and you're making money, and you're just like, well, man, all these people could help me get bigger. And so you just throw money at it, and you're like, then you realize at the end that was all wasted, and you already knew what to do anyway. And you should have just used that money to hire somebody to do it in the first place instead of hiring somebody to consult me about it.
Yeah, definitely. We've actually gone through that with Empire Flippers. We've had people sell us consulting packages, and they were marketed actually as services, but then it turned out I had to do the work.
No, exactly what happened here.
So I definitely understand that pain point very, very well. Moving into kind of the traffics and earnings with your business, could you kind of break down where it's coming from? It sounds like you guys are doing a lot of paid advertising on Facebook from the sounds of it, but is there other sources of traffic as well, like referral or organic traffic?
It's mostly Facebook. I would say Facebook accounts for about 95% of our traffic. And we also have Google AdWords where we use product ads. And we also have, I don't think we're doing Pinterest ads right now, but I know we've done them before, and we're going to ramp them back up here around Christmas season.
What do you think of the Google ads with the products?
The product ads are very simple. You kind of just set it up, and you don't have to do keywords or anything. So it's just put your bid in and keep an eye on how much you're making as you spend. We've done Google display ads and we've done Google search ads, and we've kind of discontinued most of those. The only ones we still have going are Google remarketing ads.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I don't know much about the Google AdWords with their product placement ads. But speaking of the Pinterest ads, why are you waiting to Christmas to ramp up? Just because that's the busy season, or do you find that Pinterest ads only seem to work during the busy season?
Well, what happened was I was running a lot of Pinterest ads, and then they tweaked the pixel. And so whenever they did that, all of a sudden it was showing that I was making like 18 sales on an ad that I knew only created 2 sales.
Interesting. That was Pinterest that changed that pixel?
Yeah, Pinterest changed it. And so when they did that, it really messed up, because I'm really analytical with the numbers. And so when they did that, it really messed me up. And so instead of trying to figure it all out, I kind of just stopped them.
That's probably a good idea until you can get it all sorted out.
Yeah, and so I just put it on the back burner and figured I'd come back to it at Christmas, since Christmas ad spend makes more than any other time of year.
Right, of course. Now, are you using some kind of traffic tracking software of some kind, like Volume, or what are you using?
So I've got Clicky set up and then Google Analytics.
Okay, cool. I'm always interested to see how people are tracking, especially with paid ads, because you can be tracking people like, what is it called, day parting, right? Where you're targeting them during like their lunch or a certain period of time on a certain day, You get really granular with those paid ads. It's so crazy.
Yeah, I haven't really gotten that detailed. Mostly with Facebook, it's just But my pixel had so many buyers go through it that I almost don't even really target on Facebook. I just target everybody because Facebook does the targeting for me now, no matter
Nice.
what.
You have a pretty solid email list for sure for that kind of stuff. So that's probably a smart move. Speaking of the earnings, could you like break down just the earning types and history? Now, I know you have a few different sales channels with Amazon FBA, Shopify, and Teespring. Is one outproducing the other ones like leaps and bounds, or do you find it's kind of equal?
Well, the Shopify site is obviously outproducing just because that's where I send all my traffic to. But Amazon pretty much just makes sales every day. I hardly even look at it anymore.
Nice.
Yeah, the only time I look at it is every night when I do our daily numbers. And then we have some shirts set up on eBay, although that's something I need to focus on and get scaled up more and get all of our shirts on there. Because we have a piece of software that keeps track of inventory on Shopify, Amazon, and eBay. So if any sales made on either one of those three, it takes it out of the inventory as a whole, and then it updates the other two.
That's interesting. I haven't seen many people go into the eBay channel. Have you found it to be pretty successful for you?
I mean, I only have one shirt on it now. We've made 2 sales, but considering that's 2 sales that I did 10 minutes worth of work on just to get the listing up, I mean, if that's, I'll take it, you know?
Yeah, that's excellent. I'm really digging all these different channels that you're doing. A lot of times, these sellers, they'll only have one channel, like just Amazon FBA. They might have like a Shopify site, but really the Amazon site is doing all the heavy lifting or vice versa. So that's interesting. How stable are the earnings with the business? Do you find that it's fluctuating wildly between months or staying pretty steady?
It's steadying out now because we added content revenue to the business about 3 to 4 months ago. And having that solid base of ad revenue coming in has really stabilized the profit numbers.
What do you mean by content revenue?
So because we have such a huge audience on Facebook, we have over 30 pages with over 3 million likes on them. We have content partners and we have our own blog on our site. So we send people to our blog on our site and we get AdSense revenue from our ad exchange partner. And then we also send people to our content partners, which are like, we have 4 different content partners, and we'll post their links on our pages, and they give us, it's usually around 60% of their ad revenue for the traffic we send them.
It's pretty cool. That's an interesting setup for sure. How much content? So you have a blog now. So how much content is on the site? Are you adding on a monthly basis or a weekly basis?
We get 14 posts a week from a writer that we just hired off of Fiverr, basically.
Wow, must have been a pretty epic writer.
Yeah, so I mean, she gets the language we need, and we don't have to really edit her work. So she's in school and needs the extra cash. So we just
That's awesome.
Every week get 14 posts from her, and we get those posted. I mean, it's something we'd like to scale up. It's just a matter of finding writers and putting together that little kind of a team.
Right, of course.
But yeah, so we just give her videos and we say, here, write about these.
That's awesome. Especially coming from Fiverr, that's an unlikely source. Speaking of the opportunities of this business, let's just say you want to keep it and not sell it and you want to just keep growing it. What would you say is the least risky path to grow this business?
The least risky path. So there's a couple of things. One would be getting all the shirt designs onto eBay and Amazon, because that's something I still haven't been able to get around to. And because there's no cost whatsoever for that, any sales made is just free money. Another thing that I really am trying to figure out how to do is build the content side of it, build the blogging side of it, maybe find a writer or two that's dedicated and can do up-to-date type of posts. Because right now, with getting them weekly, everything is usually at least a week or two later than when it happened. So I think having somebody writing like right on the spot, like this just happened, would help traffic numbers and help the ad revenue.
Yeah, I agree. Those are a couple very good, easy wins, especially the part of putting the rest of the shirt designs up on eBay and Amazon. I mean, as you mentioned, that's just basically free sales. You already have the account set up, might as well use it, right?
Yeah.
Now, going on the flip side here, what would you do if you were just incredibly risky and you wanted to throw caution to the wind and just grow the business as quickly as possible?
That's a good question. Yeah, I'm trying to think of all the risky things I've told my wife that I want to try to do. She told me no to.
That's a good rule of thumb for what's the most risky when your wife says no.
Yeah, I'm a risk taker. Like this whole thing was basically built on a huge amount of risk. Like spending money, just saying, okay, I know I'll get it back in 4 days, so let's see if it comes. Let's hope we do it.
Yeah, I understand that completely as well.
I think what I would do and it's not really even that risky, it's just something I would want to do is hire someone who knows how to do the Amazon affiliate model and have them build out a team and use the authority that the domain has to build an Amazon affiliate site, like kind of like in the background of the e-commerce store.
That's an interesting idea. So basically, they wouldn't necessarily be promoting your products, but other products via the Amazon affiliate program using your blog.
Yeah, exactly. And because my niche is one that is really open when it comes to other products that could be sold to it. Like, I mean, tons of products that could be sold to it. So, and also like with the audience on Facebook, like it's almost like a separate site inside the site. And so by building this out, could use the Facebook channels to push traffic to these new posts to get them even more like favored by Google to get them ranked and making Amazon affiliate commissions.
I think that's a great idea. I mean, you have a big enough audience, you can get probably pretty quickly into the second or maybe even third tier on Amazon in terms of how much product you can move with that audience. So you have a pretty large audience, and also writing out those big guides and product reviews, etc., will bring in more SEO traffic, and ultimately you'll pixel them, and then they're there forever with you, dancing with you on social media.
And then who knows how many of those people come back and end up buying my products.
Right, exactly. I think it's a great idea. Not very risky, but it's still a great idea.
I guess the risk part to me is the hiring out the team, because there's no way I could do that on my own.
True.
It's something I have no idea how to do. So I would also have to have probably like a project manager that understood that whole business model. And so that goes back to me learning how to hire people at the right time, because that feels like such a huge risk to hire people and be responsible for those people.
Now, speaking of risk, what do you think the biggest risk is for this business that buyers should be aware of?
It's Facebook. Facebook is the biggest risk by far. And I definitely don't think Facebook is going to go anywhere for the next probably 10 years based on what they've been building outside of just their own platform. But being that Facebook is such a huge chunk of the traffic for this business, I think that's the biggest risk in my eyes.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
I think there's ways to mitigate that risk by starting to like kind of get off of Facebook, which is where I think an owner who understands a little bit more of how to take an apparel line and take it off of just being an online business could help mitigate the risk of Facebook being the main traffic source.
I agree, and you've already kind of started doing, like you've started the baby steps with Amazon FBA, and you're on eBay, and not all your products are even listed on those two sites yet. So that's a great starting channel for a seller that does, or a buyer rather, who does want to mitigate the Facebook risk. At least get the rest of the products up.
Yeah, exactly. And something else is we also got approved for Amazon's, what is it called? The Amazon Merchant? No,
Amazon Merch. Yep.
Yeah, Amazon Merch. Yeah, we got accepted to the Amazon Merch program. I just haven't put any designs on it yet.
Now, for those out there who might not know what Amazon Merch is, because it's still fairly beta, kind of under the radar for most people out there. From what I understand, and feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, Brandon, but it's basically very similar to Teespring, only instead of just shirts, you can do all sorts of different kinds of things with it, right? And it instantly is a listing on Amazon, and Amazon basically does what Teespring does, but with their own factories.
Yeah, pretty much. So yeah, I can put a design on some shirts on Amazon, and as they are sold, Amazon prints and delivers them. Because Amazon's the one doing it, I believe, this hasn't been proven or anything, but I believe Amazon gives those listings they give them a little bit more precedent in their Amazon search.
Makes sense, just like Google does with YouTube, right?
Exactly.
Is it just shirts, or can you make other things with it as well?
I don't know. I haven't seen other things with it yet.
Okay, cool.
I'm sure if it's not there, I'm sure they're adding it soon.
Yeah, Amazon, man, they're the king of online retail. There to stay, probably. Speaking of work required, you have a team, you're managing all these people. Could you describe the amounts and type of work you're doing to maintain the business?
So most of my day to day revolves around looking at the ads, figuring out kind of what I want to do with them, what new ads I want to make. So that takes most of my mind throughout the day. We also try to post twice to Instagram a day, even though that's something we could probably even make easier by using like later.com or something to schedule them out.
Right.
And I also usually handle the more complex customer service issues that my customer service rep just doesn't feel comfortable answering. And then every night I do my stats and sales and do my daily numbers.
Now, what kind of skills or requirements would you suggest for someone to have that's looking to buy this business but might not be familiar with the niche?
I would say the skills, they would need at least a decent understanding of Facebook ads. I mean, because they don't really need to know the details of it if they plan to hire someone to do it for them, but they need to have an understanding of it. They should have at least an understanding of kind of like how women's fashion kind of is a little bit. I mean, it's not, and I wouldn't say really women's fashion as much as just what a girl and woman would wear would definitely help.
And then speaking of that kind of like segues into this little wrap up section of ours. How much support would you be willing to offer a buyer? Like, would you be willing to do 30 days of Facebook training with them, or what kind of support are you doing?
So knowing how my business is and that things can come up that won't come up in the first maybe like 2 weeks, but it'll just pop up. I'm totally willing to do like 60 days of phone and Skype support. I can even show them like on the screen kind of here's what I would do in this situation. And then after that, I mean, I'm available for like the next 4 months after that. So it'd be like 6 months of having contact with me.
Nice. That's very good. It's definitely very generous. Would you be willing to sign a non-compete with the new buyers saying, like, hey, look, I'm not going to go out and start the same exact business right after you buy this from me?
Yeah, absolutely. I have no interest in starting another business exactly like this.
I figured, considering the reason why you're selling the business.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, the best case scenario here for Empire Flippers and for you is for someone to come in and just purchase the business outright for full list price. But would you at all be open to something like 70% upfront and maybe 30% at the finish of training, like after the first 30 or 60 days of training? Or maybe 60% upfront and the remaining 40% upon closing? Would that be something that you'd be at all open to?
It would be very dependent on the potential buyer and the situation.
Yeah, that's fair for sure. Well, I have one more question for you, Brandon. It's my hot seat question here. But before I get into it, just to give a quick summary and then the longer summary of all the assets that are included in the business for the viewers out there. This business was built in March 2014, has a monthly revenue of $89,497. The expenses are $69,726 with that total net profit of $19,771, and that is over a 12-month average. With the site, it includes all the domains, the main domain and the multiple secondary domains, the Shopify account, Facebook pages with the 3.2 million audience, the Dropbox account with all their design files, images, and documents for the business. Other social media accounts will include the Instagram, Twitter, Tumblr, Pinterest, Winello, and Polyvore. With the sale, the business also comes with partnership agreements, such as with the content publishers, the ad exchange, and vendors. Also included is the inventory, which is currently valued at $60,000. Teespring account with 90,000 buyers, and the Mailchimp account with 114,000 active subscribers, and 35,000 of which are active buyers of the products of the business. You also get the Amazon sellers account, the Facebook ads account, and the Google account with email that will have the AdWords and analytics, as well as the software related to the operations of the business. So, Brandon, my final question for you is, what is your best pitch in 30 seconds or less on why someone should purchase this business?
My best pitch would be that we have built a very big audience that brings a lot of opportunity. One of the biggest things with business at all is to have the audience. And so we've built basically a ready to go audience that you can do almost anything with. And also having the brand that we've built on top of that carries the trust and loyalty with it that it has. I mean, it's wide open what you can do with this.
It's a great reason to buy the business. Yeah, I mean, over 100,000 email subscribers, with basically like a third of them being your customers already. Just think that's awesome opportunity between adding Amazon affiliate to growing out those other channels. There's just a lot of different really cool things that a new buyer can take this business to. So for those out there watching this on YouTube and you want more information, the link will be below the video that will take you to our actual marketplace listing. Now, if you're watching this on the actual listing page and you want more information about this business, you could become a depositor today. It's super easy. All you have to do is click the button, make a deposit, and you'll be given everything you need to review this business. So Brandon, thank you so much for coming on, man. It was an absolute pleasure.
Yeah, thank you for having me.